There is a terrifying fragility to your peace. You wake up feeling fine. You have a plan. You have an intention. And then it happens. A rude comment from a stranger. A passive-aggressive email from a coworker. A car that cuts you off in traffic. In a single second, your tranquility is shattered. Your heart races. Your mind spirals into a rehearsal of arguments that will never happen. You are hijacked. You spend the rest of the day stewing in anger, letting a 10-second event ruin 24 hours of your life. You ask yourself, why do they have this power over me? But the truth is much harder to swallow. They don't have the power. You gave it to them. We live in a world that is designed to provoke us. But the ancient Stoics understood a secret that we have forgotten. You cannot control the storm, but you can control whether you let the rain inside your house. Today, we are going to walk through 10 lessons on emotional mastery. We are going to build an inner citadel so strong that no insult, no disappointment, and no chaos can breach your walls. It is time to stop reacting and start living. Part 1. The illusion of control. The first step to freedom is realizing that your reactions are a choice, not a reflex. We act as if we are puppets, and the world holds the strings. Someone pulls the insult string, and we dance in anger. Someone pulls the fear string, and we dance in anxiety. But this is a form of slavery. You must understand that between the stimulus, what happens to you, and the response, what you do about it, there is a space. In that space lies your power. In that space lies your freedom. Imagine you are wearing noise-canceling headphones in the middle of a chaotic city. The cars are still honking. The people are still shouting. The construction is still deafening. The noise exists, but it does not reach you. Mastery is not about silencing the world. It is about silencing the impact the world has on you. When a coworker dismisses your idea or a friend forgets to call, you have a split second where you stand at a fork in the road. One path leads to resentment. The other leads to observation. You must learn to look at the event and say, "This is what happened," without adding the story of, "This is a disaster." Your emotions are your responsibility. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. But to maintain this peace, you must stop expecting people to be like you. This is the second great error we make. We walk around with a rulebook in our heads of how people should behave. We think, I would never treat them that way, so why are they treating me this way? This expectation is the root of all your frustration. You are judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree. People operate based on their own nature, their own trauma, and their own limited perspective. Expecting a narcissist to be selfless or a chaotic person to be organized is like yelling at the rain for being wet. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet meddling, ungrateful, and arrogant people. He didn't say this to be negative. He said it to be prepared. When you accept people as they are, you strip them of the power to surprise and hurt you. You stop trying to control the weather and start dressing for the climate. When you release the expectation of how others should act, you are finally free to decide how you will act. Part 2. The trap of the ego. Once you accept reality, you must confront your own ego. Specifically, you must let go of the desperate need to always be right. Think of the last argument you had. Your heart was pounding, your voice was raised, and you were desperate to prove your point. But ask yourself, would you rather be right, or would you rather be at peace? The need to win every battle is a sign of insecurity, not intelligence. It is the ego screaming to be validated. Often, we argue because we feel that if we are wrong, we are worthless. But this is a lie. When you find yourself in a conflict that is draining your energy, realize that you can simply step out of the ring. You can say, "I see your perspective," and walk away. This is not defeat. This is a strategic withdrawal to protect your sanity. He who is attached to his views will never grow. Let others have the last word. You keep your peace. This connects deeply to the fourth lesson. You must stop letting others' words define your worth. We are obsessed with external validation. We check for likes, we fish for compliments, and we crumble under criticism. We are like leaves blowing in the wind, turning whichever way the opinion of the crowd blows. But why does a stranger's comment carry so much weight? Why do we love ourselves more than others, yet care about their opinions more than our own? Your value is intrinsic. It is not a stock price that fluctuates based on public sentiment. If someone calls you foolish, it does not make you a fool. It only reveals their own lack of manners or perception. When you detach your self-image from the words of others, you become bulletproof. You realize that praise and blame are just two sides of the same irrelevant coin. You are who you are, regardless of the applause or the booing. Part 2. The Fortress of Silence. How do we practically protect this inner worth? We do it by protecting our energy through boundaries. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Yet, many of us live our lives as martyrs, saying yes to everyone else and no to ourselves. We let energy vampires drain us because we are afraid of being seen as selfish. But boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are the gates that protect your garden. When you set a boundary, when you say, "I cannot help you with that right now," or "I need this time for myself," you are teaching the world how to treat you. You are declaring that your peace is a priority. If someone gets angry because you set a boundary, that is evidence that the boundary was necessary. Protect your time. Protect your mental space. It is the most valuable resource you possess. And sometimes, the strongest boundary is silence. When you are provoked, when the anger rises, the instinct is to fight back. But the Stoic responds with silence, not anger. Silence is not submission. Silence is a void that reflects the other person's chaos back at them. When you engage with a fool, you become a fool. When you argue with a toxic person, you unknowingly step into their mud. Silence is the ultimate power move. It says, "You cannot reach me." It creates a pause where you can think, breathe, and choose a response that aligns with your character, not your impulse. As the old wisdom says, speak only if it improves upon the silence. If it doesn't, hold your tongue and keep your power. Part 4. Alchemy of the Mind. Now, we move to the advanced work, turning poison into medicine. The 8th lesson is to practice gratitude to dissolve anger. You cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. They are incompatible frequencies. When you feel the heat of rage because of an inconvenience, a delayed flight, a spilled coffee, force your mind to shift. Find one thing to be grateful for. This is not toxic positivity. This is tactical reframing. If you are stuck in traffic, be grateful you own a car. If you are criticized, be grateful for the opportunity to learn resilience. Gratitude acts as a fire extinguisher for the flames of entitlement. It reminds you that even on your worst days, you are living a life that many would dream of. This leads us to the art of reframing criticism. We usually view criticism as an attack. We put up our shields, but the Stoic views criticism as data. If the criticism is true, it is a gift. It points out a flaw you can fix. If it is false, it is an error on their part, and therefore nothing to do with you. Imagine a colleague tears apart your work. Instead of feeling destroyed, ask, is there a kernel of truth here? Use their stones to build your castle. By removing the emotional sting from criticism, you turn your enemies into your unpaid teachers. You become anti-fragile. Part V. The final release. Finally, we arrive at the hardest and most necessary lesson, the art of letting go. Holding on to anger, grudges, and past hurts is like holding a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. We replay old arguments in the shower. We relive betrayals from 10 years ago. We carry a backpack of rocks everywhere we go, and we wonder why we are so tired. You must understand that the past is dead. It does not exist anymore, except in your mind. Every second you spend dwelling on what should have happened is a second you steal from your own future. Letting go is not about forgiveness for their sake. It is an act of extreme self-love for yours. It is opening your hand and letting the coal drop, even if it leaves a scar. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not be disturbed by what is outside your power. Let it go, and you will find peace." Look at your life right now. What are you holding on to? What text message are you rereading? What apology are you waiting for that will never come? Let it go. Breathe it out. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are the consciousness that can choose right now to step into a new moment. The path to being unbothered is not about becoming a stone. It is not about feeling nothing. It is about feeling everything, but being enslaved by nothing. It is about building a spirit so robust that the chaos of the world breaks against you like waves against a cliff. You have the tools now. You know that reactions are a choice. You know that boundaries are necessary. You know that silence is strength. But knowing is not enough. You must practice. The next time the world tries to shake you, and it will, probably today, remember this moment. Remember that you hold the key to your own chains. If this message helped you find a moment of clarity in the noise, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach others who are looking for the same peace. Stay strong, stay grounded, and stay unbothered. See you next time.